Versatile Mage. Chapter 11. Yi Xingxia. Mo Fan was in a cheerful mood, humming, Little Apple, as he walked toward Mingwen Middle School. Mingwen Middle School was a private all-girls school, where the most delicate and fashionable girls gathered. Unlike other schools, Mingwen didn't rely on dull magic theory education, nor did it have fools who only knew how to pass exams from magic books. These girls mostly came from families with strong magical backgrounds, so they naturally knew far more than magic students who had to go through 9 years of compulsory magic education. For example, some of them would often wear magical tool ornaments on their chests. These, second-generation magic, girls had been wearing magical tools that enhanced their spiritual force since birth. Compared to them, Mo Fan was just a peasant who had to climb his way up step by step. The roads around the school were lined with luxurious vehicles, as it was just after dismissal. Mo Fan knew Xingxia's character well. She would avoid the crowd of girls with limousines and instead take the small road through the alley, enjoying the fragrance of the bamboo planted by local residents. Mo Fan walked past the main entrance and decided to wait for his little sister, Yi Xingxia, at the end of the alley. There weren't many people who used that alley. Mo Fan passed through several courtyards and reached the familiar path. Even though the world had changed, the city he knew remained the same, and so did the bamboo by the windows. Thinking about it, Yi Xingxia likely hadn't changed either. Mo Fan leaned against a wall in the middle of the alley, looking like a gangster waiting to extort arcade tokens from primary school students. He occasionally glanced toward the alley entrance, hoping to surprise the girl who was about to arrive. But the beautiful silhouette didn't appear for quite some time. How come she's not coming? His stance was starting to make his legs numb. As he slightly closed his eyes, he nearly drifted into meditation out of habit. Suddenly, Mo Fan heard noises coming from the small hill near the alley's entrance. Normally, such sounds would be muffled by the high walls, but for some reason, they reached his ears clearly. Could this be a side effect of meditation, enhanced perception? Curious, Mo Fan walked toward the hill. Soon, the view opened up. At the foot of the hill was a small park with a lawn. Near an air vent stood a swing made of twisted vines, motionless in the cold wind. Sitting on the swing was a girl with long black hair. The winter wind played with her locks, revealing a delicate, fair face. Her long eyelashes, refined nose, and jade-like lips made her seem like a living painting, cold yet beautiful, exuding a quiet elegance. Mo Fan froze for a moment, not realizing how much he enjoyed simply looking at her. A warm feeling welled up in his heart, and the corners of his mouth curved into a faint smile. But soon, something felt off. His brows furrowed as he walked toward the elegant girl. She noticed someone approaching, but when she saw it was Mo Fan, she wasn't surprised at all. Instead, she smiled gently, as though she had been expecting him. "Big brother Mo Fan," she greeted softly. "It's them again, isn't it?" Mo Fan's face darkened as he approached. Xingxia stayed silent. "Today I'll definitely deal with them. They're a bunch of degenerates." Mo Fan's anger flared as he glanced toward the hill's staircase. "There are a lot of them." "Just forget it," Xingxia urged, shaking her head. "I can't forget it. I'm going to deal with these dregs." Without another word, Mo Fan started up the hill. Xingxia reached out to stop him, but he was already climbing, his temper boiling over. She knew his character well. He had always fought neighborhood bullies for her sake, often ending up battered in the process. This was the last thing she wanted to see. This time, it wasn't just local ruffians. These were members of the Azure Bear Gang, a group of dropouts who made trouble in the area. They often harassed wealthy girls, targeting anyone they disliked. There were at least 5 of them up there, 2 of whom were massive compared to Mo Fan. If he went up, he'd almost certainly be beaten badly. On the pavilion atop the hill, "Zhu Bing, don't you think this is a bit inelegant?" A youth with a cigarette in his mouth and poker cards in his hand asked. "How is it inelegant? This is the 16th time I've expressed my sincere feelings to her," asking her to be my girlfriend. Can't I sit here playing cards while she thinks it over? Zhu Bing replied. An azure-colored tattoo snaked up his neck, half covered by his short jacket, making him look all the more intimidating. Yeah, if she was going to reject you, she would have walked away already, King Flash. Ha ha, pay up, double or nothing, laughed a young man in a worn cowboy hat. Damn, you're rotten luck, someone muttered. One more round, we'll play until dark. I don't believe she won't get anxious. Zhu Bing narrowed his eyes smugly. To him, girls were naturally shy and needed a man to be unyielding. Xinxia was becoming more beautiful by the day, and he was determined to have her. People called him a toad lusting after swan meat, but after today, he'd silence them all. Oh, right, I remember this little girl has a brother. That's a bit annoying, the cowboy hat youth said. His fighting ability is pathetic. Other than his stubbornness, he's just a punching bag. You can beat him however you want, Zhu Bing scoffed. That's right, before, I could handle him alone. Now that I've put on some muscle, I'd like to test it out on him. Chapter End. Versatile Mage. Chapter 12 Lightning Force, Lightning Strike. Speaking of which, Zhu Bing, aren't your preferences a bit too much? This girl does indeed look good, however, being able to do that is a bit hard to say. I think so, too. In this all-girls school, there are numerous pretty girls. The people are dumb, but they have money. Just threaten them a bit and they'll cave in. Why would you go through so much trouble for just this one girl? What do you know? It's called having good taste. Zhu Bing viciously glared at the group of people. While he was starting to feel dissatisfied with the terrible taste of this group of boys, Zhu Bing raised his head and saw a young man wearing a black t-shirt, walking toward the pavilion with a cold aura surrounding him. Hey, this guy seems familiar. Crap, speak of the devil, isn't this the brother next door to the girl? This guy, I've been wanting to deal with him for the longest time for obstructing me from trying to hit on this girl. Who would have thought that you'd come to me by yourself? It just happens that there are quite a few of my brothers here today. We'll just let you have a taste of getting beaten, and we'll see if you dare to stand up again in the future. Brothers, grab your weapons. Zhu Bing stood, his gaze interlocked with Mo Fan's cold eyes. The man with cowboy adornments, the young man with a cigarette hanging from his mouth, the man with the headphones, and the man wearing the jacket immediately stood up as they all looked to their side. Bro, we didn't bring weapons. The cigarette man moved closer to Zhu Bing's ear as he faintly whispered. What the heck? Do you need weapons to deal with this guy? Beat him up real good. For the instruction of Brother Zhao Kunsen, if we beat him up, then it's on him. Zhu Bing slapped the talkative brother on the forehead with his palm as he responded in rage. The man with the cigarette felt wronged. You were the one who said to grab the weapons. It seems like it's just wordplay. Since it's something Brother Zhao Kunsen has instructed before, the man with the jacket removed it as he chuckled, revealing his white tank top and bulging muscles. Mo Fan looked attentively at the 5 trash from the Azura Bear gang with a gaze that felt as though he was looking at domesticated animals. HMPH, kid, let's put it like this. My interest in a girl like your sister is practically the luckiest thing in her life. Do you think anyone else is like me, Zhu Bing, who doesn't care that she's a cripple? There's no reason for a cripple to act like a goddess. If there's anyone who wants her, then you should burn the money and thank Buddha. Zhu Bing pointed at Mo Fan as he revealed his true intentions. Zhu Bing's patience had run out after all these years. Look at me, Zhu Bing, I have the looks and the strength. Within the Guangxi district, I'm quite the character. If Yi Xingxia were to follow me, she would be able to live well whether times are good or bad, and she'd always have minions at her service. The point is, learn to appreciate favors. Now, obediently call me brother-in-law. Seeing how we're going to be a family, we will be gentle with you. This way, we can tell Zhao Kunsen and Mu Bai we beat you up. If you're still resisting, then we'll break your legs so you can be a cripple along with your sister. The muscular man in the white tank top commanded. After hearing this, Mo Fan's chest began heaving violently. He glanced at the pavilion. In the middle of the pavilion, there was a lone wheelchair with poker cards on top of the seat. Originally, Mo Fan was extremely angry from seeing these dregs using Yi Xingxia's wheelchair as a table for playing poker. However, now that he had heard these humiliating insults from Zhu Bing, Mo Fan felt as though his chest was about to explode. A cripple, I, Mo Fan, have pledged a vow. If someone were to ever say this kind of stuff to Yi Xingxia, then I will make sure they regret being reincarnated as a human. Stop wasting time with this kid. Go beat him up. I alone am enough to deal with him. Brothers, you just stand to the side and watch. The muscular man in the white tank top began cracking his fists. Mo Fan looked at them with extremely icy eyes. However, as they were messing around here, they didn't notice one thing. He was forging a vicious, purple-colored lightning path within his eyes. The star path contained a tremendous lightning force that was about to erupt like a volcano under Mo Fan's rage. Do you really think I'm still the same Mo Fan you can take advantage of? A restless force began to tremble in the atmosphere around Mo Fan. It was like fully armed soldiers waiting for commands from their general. You, who isn't even on the same level as a domesticated animal, are just in time to taste the flavor of lightning. The moment the angry voice transmitted from his throat, the 7 stars formed and became a star path, causing the power from the lightning star dust to gather within Mo Fan's right arm. Buzz! An astonishing arc of lightning sparked across Mo Fan's body like a python. In the next second, the restless lightning in the atmosphere began to assemble within Mo Fan's right arm, emitting an ear-piercing noise. Heavens! What is that? Why is there lightning crackling around his body? This kid, heavens, he's a mage. Among these people, Zhu Bing was the one who had seen the most of the outside world. Mage, was said with certainty. This group was certainly famous ruffians within the Guangxi district, and yet, ruffians still relied on punches and kicks. In front of a real magician, they weren't even enough to be called dregs. How could he be a mage? Zhu Bing and the group were exceedingly scared by the incredibly shocking scene in front of them. In their perspective, if one could leave a mark after punching a tree, then one would be considered incredible among ruffians. However, they had never met someone whose body was enshrouded by crackling lightning arcs. Everything within the circumference of a few meters looked like a destroyed high-voltage area. Incorporeal power pressured them, causing their entire bodies to feel numb. Lightning force, lightning strike. All the invocations were complete. This time, Mo Fan was genuinely using the primary rank skill, lightning strike. He suddenly raised his arm, his palm facing the sky. All the trembling lightning arcs in the surroundings emitted a sharp sound. They were just like a group of elemental warriors in purple-colored armor who had just received a command as they suddenly unsheathed their weapons. Annihilate them. With unfathomable rage, Mo Fan relied on his instincts to control the lightning force that heeded his commands. He ferociously gripped his fist. An arc-like lightning element emerged and shot toward Zhu Bing, who was standing at the very front, as well as toward the muscular man's location. The lightning arc came forth from high altitude. Every strike was like a whip filled with immense power, whipping Zhu Bing and the muscular man to the floor. At the same time, it left behind strands of marks as it continued to whip them on the floor. PSH. Zhu Bing and the muscular man were beaten down to the floor. Just a while ago, they were still putting on airs, but now, in the moment the lightning strike fell on them, flesh lacerated from their backs, skin burning to a crisp. They wanted to scream out in pain, but not a sound came from them. The lightning strike's strands of power were like small pythons, scurrying around their bodies. Every time they scurried, Zhu Bing and the muscular man twitched in pain. Pudong. After feeling this dreadful power, the man with the cigarette was so frightened that he began to kneel on the floor. His body unconsciously began to tremble. The man in the cowboy adornments was completely dumbstruck. it was as though he had turned into a statue. Although the man with headphones was just standing there, without getting hit by the lightning strike, his jeans were completely soaked, and it even started dripping down on his shoes. Chapter End. Versatile Mage. Chapter 13. First Taste of Magic. In the pavilion on the hill, an unimaginable purple energy flashed magnificently before quickly disappearing into nothing. A scorched smell lingered in the air, and there was even some charring on the surrounding plants. Two people lay on the ground, twitching violently. Their appearances were too horrible to look at. The insufferably arrogant attitude of the Guangxi district's ruffians was nowhere to be seen. The other three people were thoroughly terrified. Big Brother Mo Fan, seeing as how we grew up in the same district, could you spare us? We will never do this again. The man with the cigarette was so scared that his soul felt as though it had dispersed. To him, the 16-year-old youth before him was scarier than the demons in his nightmares. You are an honorable mage. You don't need to lower yourself to the level of dregs like us. I beg of you, don't do anything to us, the man in cowboy adornments said with a trembling voice. The sight of Zhu Bing and the muscular man's conditions was simply too terrifying. The man in cowboy attire didn't want to end up like them. The whiff of rage that had accompanied the fully unleashed lightning strike slowly settled in Mo Fan's heart. He looked at the miserable Zhu Bing and the muscular man, then glanced at the other three who were completely terrified. Take them to the hospital, Mo Fan said as he calmed down. Truthfully, even Mo Fan hadn't imagined that the primary rank skill of the lightning element, lightning strike, could be so powerful. This was my first time actually activating it. If I can become more proficient and increase my accuracy, I won't waste a single bit of scattered energy during activation. A perfected lightning strike might directly kill all 5 of them in an instant. So far, so good. There were no casualties, or things could have become complicated. Yes. We'll go now. The cowboy, seeing Mo Fan's rage subside, acted as though he had been granted a new life. The other two didn't dare think too much. They hurried to support the two paralyzed men, only to feel remaining lightning arcs pass into their arms from the victims' bodies, making them tremble in fear. Call an ambulance. You'll handle the medical fees yourselves, Mo Fan said indifferently. I'll call them now. Mo Fan's rage had already dispersed. In fact, his mind was still brimming with a hard-to-conceal excitement. Right now, in their eyes, Mo Fan was like a god of slaughter. How could he display his giddy joy to these fools? Walking into the pavilion, Mo Fan swept away the cards from the wheelchair, picked it up, and followed the stairs down. The 3 men still watched him with fear in their eyes. Suddenly, Mo Fan spun around. The 3 of them recoiled instinctively. Oh right, if someone asks, tell them these 2 tried to steal electricity. If you dare spread word of me being a mage, I'll make sure you never speak again. I've heard the police don't trouble mages who, accidentally, kill someone, especially scum who provoked a mage, Mo Fan warned. The 3 nodded frantically like pounding garlic, as obedient as could be. As for Zhao Kunsen and Mu Bai, with your IQs, I trust you know what to say. Mo Fan added casually. We didn't see you. You're smart. I'll consider the matter closed. If anything comes up in the future, you can find me, you've seen my abilities. Yes. Big Brother Mo Fan, take care. The 3 bent over in fear and respect. Mo Fan nodded, picked up the wheelchair, and left. First, you beat 'em up ruthlessly. Then, you give them a little benefit. Mo Fan believed these lads wouldn't dare act rashly or spread the matter. On one side, he had become a lightning element magician capable of activating his skills. On the other, there was only the apprentice-level Mu Bai. Surely they knew where to stand. Still, Mo Fan was well aware these 5 were merely lackeys for Mu Bai and Zhao Kunsen. When the time comes, I'll pay those 2 bastards back in full. Following the stone steps downward, Mo Fan finally couldn't help laughing aloud. A few years ago, he had been just an ordinary student staring out the window in boring history classes. He'd daydream about soaring through the sky or meeting villains he could defeat with a special power in his hands. Who would have thought he'd get a taste of that today? With the lightning force at his command, the 5 ruffians who once bullied him had scattered like stray dogs. The feeling was incredible, like a dream. Lightning element's lightning strike is indeed impressive. I wonder what kind of power the fire element's primary rank skill, Flame Burst, has. There's still half a year before the annual magic examination. I should have enough time to master Fire Burst, Mo Fan thought excitedly. Lightning Strike was already ferocious. What about other elements? And the primary rank was just the beginning. Above it were intermediate and high ranks. Right. The Wind Element teacher said the high rank skill, Wind Wings, lets you soar through the sky. Damn, if I learned that, I could go anywhere. Even after a long while, Mo Fan couldn't suppress his excitement. His mind kept running over magic knowledge, imagining what other heaven-defying skills mages might have. On the swing sat a long-haired girl with a perfect nose, her head slightly tilted upward. She was watching the pavilion, its view partly blocked by trees. The purple ray just now, Yi Xingxia murmured. She had seen a magnificent purple light, like a shooting star, flash from the pavilion. Though it vanished quickly, it was unforgettable. Is it a mage? She wondered. It was hard to believe a mage would appear in a small city area like this. But why would one show up where Mo Fan and a group of ruffians were, and even use real magic? Is Big Brother Mo Fan alright? She bit her lip nervously. At last, a familiar figure appeared on the stone staircase. He was carrying her wheelchair, and had a trace of a silly smile on his face. Chapter End. Versatile Mage. Chapter 14. Heaven-defying cultivation speed. As long as there's no trouble, it's fine. Yi Xingxia's heart finally settled down. Xingxia, I've already dealt with those people. They won't bother you anymore, Mo Fan said, placing the wheelchair in front of Yi Xingxia. I saw lightning. It seems to be the primary rank skill of the lightning element. Lightning strike, Yi Xingxia said. When Mo Fan heard this, he began to feel a sense of pride. However, he simply smiled without saying a word, using his eyes to glance at Yi Xingxia. Yi Xingxia felt something wasn't right. She thought carefully before astonishment flashed in her eyes. The one activating lightning strike was Big Brother Mo Fan. Mo Fan didn't admit it. He just stood there with a smile. It really was you. Big Brother Mo Fan is a mage, Yi Xingxia said with a hint of disbelief. Haha, you are the first person to witness my true power. Mo Fan suddenly said in a headstrong tone, leaning closer to Yi Xingxia's delicate and cute face. Yi Xingxia didn't anticipate this sudden move. A red flush immediately filled her cheeks and even reached down to her neck. Only then did Mo Fan realize he was being a bit too relaxed. He hastily began to explain, I'm sorry, I got a bit too excited. Yi Xingxia replied softly, then, did you really become a mage? Mo Fan nodded. Our teacher said only 1 out of 1,000 can awaken the lightning element. The primary level of the lightning element holds a great advantage. Many say it's the best primary ranked element. At that moment, Yi Xingxia began to feel happy for Mo Fan. Yi Xingxia knew the situation at home well, even more so after she became part of the family and unintentionally added to Uncle Mo Jiaxing's burden. According to Auntie, Uncle Mo Jiaxing had already sold their house. Their poverty had reached its limit. Both she and Mo Fan were still young. It was hard for them to help Mo Jiaxing. The only thing Mo Fan could do was study hard and become a genuine mage. Only then could he help relieve the family's current crisis. It seemed like Big Brother Mo Fan was indeed amazing. He had unexpectedly learned magic in such a short period of time. Hey, that's not right. Suddenly, Yi Xingxia realized something. She looked at Mo Fan with her beautiful eyes, clearly wanting to say something. Mo Fan asked earnestly. What's wrong? It hasn't even been half a year since you awakened. From what I know, even people with high innate talent require nearly a year to fully activate their primary rank skills, Yi Xingxia said. Mo Fan was dumbstruck. No way. Even highly talented people need nearly a year to go from awakening to activation. Then, me being able to completely use the primary skills after half a year really is too quick. The thing was, Mo Fan didn't know anything about this. That blockhead Mu Bai was already able to grasp 4 or 5 stars. From his perspective, wasn't it normal that he could already activate magic? However, why did Yi Xingxia's surprised face make it seem like she was looking at a monster? Could it be that learning the primary rank skill within half a year was extremely abnormal in this world? Possess a high innate talent. Even someone with high innate talent needs a year. What kind of level is that? Mo Fan cautiously asked. Mo Fan didn't want to expose the fact that he knew almost nothing about this world. Mu Ningzhu is considered the most talented person in Arbo City. Her talent even surpasses many genius-level students in the empire. However, she needed 8 months to go from awakening to learning the ice element's primary skill, Yi Xingxia said. 8 months. Mo Fan was stunned when he heard this. What kind of existence was Mu Ningzhu? She was the only person directly recruited by the Empire Institution from Bo City. She was also the most beloved person in the entire Mu clan, having received their inherited magic training methods, resources an ordinary mage could never access in their lifetime. Her status and her astonishing magic talent were deeply connected. Even an extremely arrogant genius like her needed 8 months to go from awakening to activating primary magic. What about Mo Fan, who only needed 5 months? Holy crap! Holy crap! Mo Fan felt his heart surge wildly. If Mu Ningzhu shocked the world with 8 months and was hailed as a heavenly genius, then wouldn't his 5 months be completely heaven-defying? Big brother Mo Fan, did you learn something bad? I heard from an old scholar that this kind of cultivation speed is only possible for people from the Black Church, Yi Xingxia whispered. The Black Church had some demonic magic method that could drastically increase a mage's cultivation speed. Yi Xingxia really couldn't think of any other explanation for someone completing primary magic in just 5 months, even though she knew her big brother Mo Fan's intelligence surpassed others. The Black Church, how is that possible? Is that so? Oh. Right, I actually didn't awaken on the day of the opening ceremony. I met an old man way before that, and he told me, "Kid, I see your bones are unusually good. Your talent exceeds others. Why don't you let me teach you magic?" At that time, I asked who he was, and he told me he was a member of the Magic City's Magic Association. He said he could help me awaken in advance. In short, I actually didn't learn magic in just 5 months, Mo Fan quickly explained. As Yi Xingxia listened, she became confused. However, she still smiled brightly. Oh, so you actually awakened in advance. Awakening too early can cause side effects in cultivation, but if it's someone from the Magic Association, there shouldn't be any big issues. Seeing that Yi Xingxia no longer asked questions, Mo Fan finally sighed in relief. Damn, I really am a monster. It seems like I shouldn't reveal too much before I completely understand this world. Is it true that only those from the Black Church can finish their cultivation in 5 months? Mo Fan asked quietly. Yes, Yi Xingxia nodded sincerely. Mo Fan felt cold sweat run down his back. Being too amazing wasn't a good thing. Originally, Mo Fan wanted to surprise Yi Xingxia with the fact that he also possessed the fire element, but now it seemed it would be better not to act recklessly before understanding the situation. I should go back, consult the books, and fully understand things first. If not, I might be branded as someone from the Black Church and dealt with. Chapter End. Versatile Mage. Chapter 15 Tales of the Demons. After taking Yi Xingxia back to her aunt's place and having dinner with them, Mo Fan wanted to continue practicing the lightning element magic. However, When he began to do his usual practice on control, he felt a splitting headache, as if his head was about to burst. It was like playing League of Legends for 3 days straight without sleep in an internet cafe. His entire being felt like it was about to drop dead. What kind of situation is this? It's the feeling of having low spirit. Is it because I used lightning strike twice today? Could it be that using lightning element magic excessively has led to spiritual fatigue? Wait, is there a mistake here? If I count the time on the bus where I didn't fully activate it, I've only used lightning strike twice today. And that caused my mana to be completely drained. Originally, I thought spending 5 months meditating would make the magic capacity within my stardust tremendous. Who would have thought that using lightning strike twice would cause the entire lightning element stardust to become completely dim? The lightning element stardust used to be gorgeous and colorful within my spiritual world. The purple radiance reflected by the 7 stars was like a beautiful painting of the starry sky. However, right now, the stardust had lost its radiance and sunk into darkness. At first, Mo Fan was slightly scared. Fortunately, after he loosened up and started to rest, the lightning stardust began to slowly recover its radiance, although very slowly. It seems like the stardust isn't bright enough. Every time I use magic, the stardust loses a bit of its radiance. When the stardust is completely dark, it means the energy within it has been entirely used up. The stardust contains magic energy. No wonder the homeroom teacher, Zhu Musheng, kept stressing, even if it's boring, you still need to maintain meditation. If a talented mage doesn't diligently meditate, they could become mediocre. These words basically mean, so what if your skill is incredible? If you don't have the mana, you're just a useless dreg. Forget it, let's not think about this. I should hurry up and sleep, or else I'll really pass out. While holed up in his room, he slept until dawn. Yi Xingxia was so considerate that she didn't wake him up, even though it was almost noon. Mo Fan got out of bed feeling energetic. He easily entered a meditative state and scanned his stardust. He discovered that most of it was shining brightly and would probably fully recover its former radiance very soon. Oh right, I shouldn't reveal my lightning element to outsiders. Even though this is a society governed by law, people could still become jealous. An example would be the Mu family, which is capable of covering the heavens with the point of a finger. It seems I still need to cultivate the fire element. This way, it would be easier to fool other people. Mo Fan brushed his teeth as he pondered over this. However, I only have so much energy in a single day. How can I cultivate the lightning element while also cultivating the fire element? The reason Mo Fan was able to activate the lightning element skill in just 5 months was because he had spent all of his cultivation time on it. No matter how fascinating and charming the fire element was, Mo Fan had remained single-minded toward lightning. The annual magic examination is in roughly half a year. If I don't want to reveal the lightning element's power this early, I ought to concentrate all my attention on cultivating the fire element in the next semester and reach the point where I can activate its primary skill. Although, if I do this, the progress of the lightning element will be at a standstill for half a year. I need to meditate. The stardust won't become stronger without effort. Mo Fan made a few adjustments to his meditation schedule. There was a bit more than 6 months left before the annual magic examination. Mo Fan planned to distribute 10 hours each day, 8 hours on cultivating the fire element and 2 hours to gently grow the lightning element. This way, the lightning element's growth might be slow, but at least it would maintain his proficiency in control. Spending 8 hours a day to cultivate the fire element was already much greater compared to students who could only meditate for 5 hours. His aunt, Mo King, came home from work during lunch. Aunt Mo King was the most ordinary woman, thin, with a sallow face, but a very good person. Mo Fan, you're back. I've heard from your dad that you're fully concentrating on cultivating at Tianlan Magic High. You must really do your best. If you can become a primary mage, then you'd bring honor to the ancestors of our Mo family. Mo King said. A primary mage and I'd be bringing honor to the ancestors. How many generations have we been poor? Sigh. I don't know if I'm ready. Where's your husband? I haven't seen him around, Mo Fan asked. He's delivering goods to the hunters in the mountains. I really don't understand how a normal person like him could possibly have the courage to go into the mountains. If he were to encounter a magical beast, it could swallow him in one gulp. Mo King complained. Aren't the magical beasts in the primitive mountains quite a distance from our city? Mo Fan asked. This world was different from the one he was familiar with. Outside of the city, in the magic world, resided numerous magical beasts that threatened human lives. Common people were afraid to even set foot in those areas. Even magicians often lost their lives there. Haven't you seen the warning issued by the Hunters Union? Recently, the magical beasts have gotten restless. There have even been signs of beasts emerging outside of Bo City. They've been especially warning normal folks not to step outside the safety zones, Mo King said. Isn't that a bit too much? Mo Fan said with a smile. Although Mo Fan was new to this, he had read a lot of books. Magical beasts generally stayed far away from human cities. Moreover, renowned organizations like the Magic Association, the Hunters Union, and large magic families regularly cleaned up the surrounding areas to ensure public safety. You've studied so much that you've become dumb. Think about it. What mayor doesn't want their city to appear peaceful? Even if magical beasts were to invade, they would still say the situation is under control to prevent panic. The truth is, there have always been magical beasts near the city. There are even some within it. It's just that we common people don't usually see them, Mo King whispered. Mo Fan was surprised at her words, but he still smiled and said, Aunt, you're too paranoid. Little boy, you still won't believe me. Then let me tell you something that actually happened. This is real. Don't say your aunt just likes gossip. You know I work in the hospital's logistics department. Aha, Mo Fan nodded. Fortunately, Mo King didn't say she worked at some sacred institution, or else Mo Fan would have been completely lost. There was an evening when I went to deliver wound medicine to the doctor in charge. There was a healing element mage there who chewed out drive. Wang, saying, even if you're a healing element apprentice, you shouldn't be so stupid as to not know how to differentiate poison marsh from poison water. Also, these people are under a demonic spell, which is why they look lifeless. Go, go, go. Don't be a burden here. Go find people from the Hunters Union and have them hunt down the evil-eyed marsh beast, or else there will be more injured people in this area. Mo King moved closer and spoke in a cautious tone. From her expression, Mo Fan could tell she wasn't making it up. Don't tell me magical beasts are actually so close to the city, with some even inside it. That's quite scary. Magical beasts are man-eating monsters. If you encounter one, death is almost certain. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.